Hello, welcome to the Recession Proof Investing series, where we have top experts sharing tips and strategies on creating lasting success and financial freedom. I'm Keisha Bailey, CEO of Profit Jumpstart, and your host today. Today, I'm joined by Danielle from Dream with Dan, and I'm very excited for the topic that we're going to be discussing today, stock meditation. So, Dan, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Excited to talk about this topic today.
Yeah. Can you share a bit more about your background and the work that you do with our listeners?
Yeah, sure. So I'm all about grounding the magic of our prayers, our vision boards, our meditation, our yoga, and all the things with actual strategies that work. More and more, as mindfulness and spirituality is becoming more popular, more and more people are taking advantage of people that don't know that much. We're seeing more and more people selling snake oil, and actually it's tarnishing the good name of something that I've been a part of for the last 20 years, and it really upsets me to see that. And so we're coming in now, we're using very very clickbait titles to get people to come and have this conversation about the role that spirituality, that mindfulness has in overall success. And when we're talking about, recession-proof wealth building, because we are on the teeterings, if you look at the numbers, we are on the teeterings of what could potentially be a catastrophic financial situation, much worse than 2008, maybe worse than even 1929. And people aren't getting ready for it because they're waiting for their vision board to save them. And I'm here to stop people doing that.
That's exciting. Waiting for your vision board to save you. Intriguing. So tell me a bit more about with your work. How has COVID been for your business and for your clients? I know it's been a really rough time for most persons. So I wanted to kind of check in with you on that.
Well, I was resourced to deal with strange situations. Converted our retreats to virtual, which was the only thing that was really impacted, that we had in-person retreats, but we did that 3 or 4 times a year. So, oh no, I don't get to go and hang out in Italy. Okay, cool. People came to Mexico. And then when that became more difficult, we just moved everything online. That was really the extent of it. My business has actually done much better. We've actually become a 7-figure business over the course of COVID. Again, this comes down to something that's going to be a big part of our conversation today, being resourced to deal with uncertainty. The fact is that we can never be certain about what's going to happen and what's not going to happen. The truth of COVID is that, yes, whether you are on the vaxxer, anti-vaxxer, mask or no mask, the pandemic or pandemic, wherever you are, the world has changed. And those who are going to thrive and survive are those who are ready to deal with change. Waiting for some mystical magic spell to save you isn't going to help you to deal with change. Being ready to deal with change is what's going to help you be ready to deal with change.
So Dan, can you share with us your work around meditation?
So one of the things I'm really passionate about, in fact, I'll tell you an analogy based on something that I saw recently on the internet. So I was on Instagram. Very important, you read it. I was on Instagram.
Yes.
And an ad came up that said, get this, how to get clients for your business without using Instagram ads. So someone used an Instagram ad to try and sell me on not needing an Instagram ad to get clients.
I have seen those. I actually have seen those. Yeah.
You see the ones I'm talking about?
Yes.
So everybody that I see running around with the idea that their financial situation is going to change without them doing it, got that idea from someone who actually did something and wasn't sitting around. They didn't translate that idea to you telepathically. They wrote a book, they ran an ad, they had an advert, they wrote an article, they wrote a podcast. They took action to tell you that you don't need to take action. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
So we've got people, we've got people that they have their vision board party every year. I'm not with a vision board party. You want to meet up with your girlfriends, meet up with your mates, have a few drinks and cut some stuff to cut out, and maybe have some cool food or whatever. Have fun. But if that's where everything stops, no wonder you have to do one every year. That's
Yeah.
probably got the same things on from last year. Or if anything did show up, it was by accident.
True.
Meditation is very powerful. It can help you get and manage on your emotional state. You can use it to create. You can use it to go and do visualizations. You can use it to change your mindset. Very powerful. But if you stop there, what's the point? If everyone watching this interview right now closes their eyes and imagines themselves extremely wealthy, having generational wealth, riding out any oncoming financial situations with abundance and what have you, if they open their eyes, is it still there? No, it's not, because it was there in the realm of meditation. It didn't land here in the physical realm.
Right.
And everything that exists here in the physical realm happens because someone moved through time and space and did something to create or receive something in time and space. I'm all about bridging people from just running there and having their visible parties, or just having their morning practice, or just going to church or the temple or synagogue or the mosque, and actually saying, okay, what are we going to do with that magic that we've tapped into to actually make the experience that we want a part of our life?
Yes. This is powerful. Keep going, keep going. This is exciting.
We're not just physical flesh and bones either. We know people that work really hard. If it was just working hard, then, I live in Mexico. All right. I walked down to the office this morning, had an early interview. So I had to get to the office for 8. I only work across the road from my house. But there were people walking to go and work on the building site not too far from where I am. They're building a new apartment building.
Yeah.
They're going to be out in the hot blazing sun. It's like 32 degrees centigrade. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, right? They're out in the blazing sun. Everyone's got their face masks on because of COVID. They're not taking those off.
Yeah.
If success was just about working hard, these people wouldn't be slaving away on building sites.
They would be billionaires.
Yes. They'll be billionaires.
Yeah.
Right? My mum, God bless her, my mum is 72 now. My mum technically retired 12 years ago, 10 years ago. My mum refused to stop working. She was retired for about 2 years. She got bored.
Yeah.
Came back to the UK, got a part-time job. Right? My mum doesn't need to. She worked for the government. You know what I'm talking about, right? Same. My mum worked for the local council. She's got a government pension. She's got a private pension, and she's got a state pension. Yeah. My mum doesn't need to work. She's got 5 kids. She gets to live in the house, my brother's house. She doesn't need to work, but she's obsessed with needing to work. She would be a billionaire gazillionaire. We'd have generational wealth if it was hard work.
Yes.
So we know that's not it, right? How many of us know people that read all day? All they do is read. They read. They're always learning. Where's their success? And we all know people that are in church every Sunday or every Saturday, or they're in the mosque every Friday, or the synagogue or the temple every week. Yeah. Devout, God-fearing people, whatever God means to them, still struggling.
Yeah.
So why are we still buying into this story that just by tackling one of these things, that change is going to come?
Yeah, I feel it may just be the hype, the trend, because these vision boards, the affirmations, they're nice and trendy, so I feel everyone's on the trend and they want to be a me too. I'm doing what everyone else is doing.
But where's it going? And it's sad because a successful strategy does include all of these aspects, but they have to be directed effectively in order to have an effective outcome. And that, I believe, is what people are missing, the effective deployment of these tools. Hard work doesn't matter if the hard work is in the wrong direction, right? If I'm running 100 miles an hour in the wrong direction, it doesn't matter how fast I'm running. I'm not going to finish the race.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm working moderately hard, but doing so effectively, the Pareto principle kicks in. I'm going to have much more effect than someone that's working 10 times harder than me.
Yes.
So it's working smart, not working hard, working still.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Learn.
That's hard for people.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's hard for people to accept, because when you look on social media, it's all about the grind. I'm on the grind. I'm on the grind. And it's almost as if you're not on the grind doing these 100-hour work weeks, or you're, you know, constantly putting in time, that you won't be successful, right? That's really what the thing is. The it thing now is to be on the grind.
Themselves into suicide. They're grinding themselves into burnout, suicide. They're grinding themselves into failure. They're grinding themselves into death. Some people are dying from hard work.
Yeah.
So that's not the answer.
Yeah.
We teach about something in my work called Money DNA. And what Money DNA as a concept is teaching us time and time again is that when you are working strategically and in flow, you don't really need to work that hard. Or even if you are working hard, it doesn't even feel like work. My work doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
I probably work, my wife would argue I work a lot harder than I need to. Technically, we're financially free, but I love what I do. So I guess I'm following in my mum's footsteps and working when I don't have to. But it doesn't feel like work for me. You know, me getting up, I mean, I got up last weekend, we did a virtual retreat, weekend before last. I was up at 4 a.m. to teach this retreat every day. And I was excited to get up at 4 a.m. and speak to these guys.
Yeah.
I was excited to be up at 4 a.m. and I was filled up and nourished by the time that I spent with the guys. It did not feel like work. So understanding how you're constructed, understanding where your flow exists, understanding where your natural resonance of work exists and moving in that direction, you'll get such a return on that time invested, which doesn't even feel like work. You're going to have massive results back that way as well.
Yeah.
But you do have to know yourself. You do need to know where your flow is.
You need it brings fulfillment. That flow brings you to purpose and fulfillment. Yeah.
I mean, we could speak about purpose too. People think, oh, you know, I'm looking for my purpose. Where's my purpose? You know, this one always makes me laugh because people are running around waiting, so not living their life, waiting for one reason to show up for them to live their life.
Yeah.
Missing out on life, looking for the reason why they should be living their life. Where does that make any sense?
Totally get it. If I only had this car, I'll be happy. If I had the shoes, if I had the dream house, you know, if I had $1 million in my bank account, I'll be rich. And you kind of just keep deferring that true happiness to eventually get to something. And usually these things are so lofty. I believe sometimes people self-sabotage because the goal.
100%. Sometimes, most of the time, people self-sabotage. You know, I've got an interesting perspective on self-sabotage. I don't actually think it's sabotage. I've got a Danism, and one of the Danisms is that the mind doesn't lose. So we never fail at anything. Actually, we're always successful, but we're successful in something we haven't consciously chosen. The unconscious mind never fails. It's always successful. It's a terminator. It's a goal-achieving machine. However, the goals that the unconscious mind are chasing after and always succeeding on may not match what we think that we want when we're in a conscious level. So I really want to work on my business today. I really want to do some research onto finding the right financial advisor. This comes up, that doesn't come up. You know, you don't end up doing it. Oh, I self-sabotage today. No, your unconscious mind was playing out its goal of not doing it. And it won. That's why a big part of that mental piece, you know, we've spoken about the spiritual piece, we've spoken about the work piece. A big part of the mental piece of it is this. It's understanding that your mind is not going to lose, and you have to get the unconscious mind on board with what you're trying to do. Otherwise, none of your plans will come to fruition. Doesn't matter how hard you pray, doesn't matter how much you've been meditating that morning, or you know how beautifully crafted your vision board is. If the unconscious mind is not on board, you're not going to win. It operates at 10,000 to 10 million times the speed of the conscious mind. We're not going to keep up with it. We have to have it on board and have it as our partner.
Yeah. And it will kind of just fuel you forward. That's an interesting way of looking at it, though, the unconscious mind and the actual impact of that. Because a lot of persons say, oh, it didn't work out, but I knew it wouldn't be. And that's the unconscious mind coming on and saying, yeah, you know.
Decided, it wasn't going to happen. And that's one of the reasons we teach about microshifts. So my signature program is called Micro to Millions. And the reason why we've had people that have such success with the program is because we make sure that the unconscious mind is on board by not trying to give it this big goal. We take these steps. I mean, here's the question I always ask people. If I gave you $500,000 right now, and I said to you, number one, Here is all of the frequency, vibration, emotions all cleared up. All of your trauma around money, any limiting emotions, we wipe those. So you've got a clean slate. Okay. All of the limiting beliefs and exact certainty in your mind that you can do it, and exactly the steps on how to turn $500,000 to $1 million. Could you do it?
Yeah.
Most people will say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that if you take $100 and if you do that process 14 times, you have 1.6 million? And take $100 and double it 14 times, you have $1.6 million.
Compounding. Yeah.
So what we do with the program is we take people through that process, and it's going through, because look, most people don't have an issue having $200, even though I think the average American hasn't got more than $400 in savings. Most people are in debt, which is a tragic figure. A lot of people are going to get stuck with figures that they're used to having, because the mind looks at what it's used to. If you save for a car, you save for a holiday, you save for college, you save for a deposit for a house. People normally save for something, then they put it into that thing and the money disappears, but they at least have an experience of holding that amount of money. It's when they go beyond that figure that the sabotage kicks in, because the mind says, oh, this is uncharted territory. We don't know what to do here.
Yeah.
But when we consciously go through the process of going up to that figure, developing a mindset of momentum, developing an emotional state of momentum, and learning new skills, strategies, and having new experience, building new relationships along the way, then when you hit that, what we call the edge, you're going to blow through it. And that's why we see people get to $1 million in less than a year. We see people get to financial freedom in months. Yeah, we see it time and time again. Because the only reason why many people haven't reached it is because their mind doesn't believe it's possible, and they don't have any experience of holding that amount of money. So when they go for it loftily, they fall back.
You're hitting it.
90% of lottery winners, Keisha, go back to exactly where they were within 5 years. We see people that have windfall payments all the time, and they lose it, they throw it away because they're used to being in a certain place. Whenever they go beyond it, they always end up falling back.
Yeah.
But by taking microshifts, these baby steps along the way, you can build that resilience, build that muscle, build that experience, and build that capacity to sit at those different levels. Again, $100 doubled 14 times is 1.6 million. What we do is we take people through each one of those steps, making sure that emotionally, energetically, you're used to holding that amount of money. Mentally, you understand the new levels of mindset and belief that are required to move to that new level. And we also give them exact strategies that they can use based on their unique money DNA to move through those steps.
That is amazing, because I like the fact about the baby steps, the micro shifts, because it keeps you motivated. For a lot of persons, if someone comes to you, you're heavily in debt, on the 9 to 5, grinding, and someone says, you know what, I can make you a millionaire or a billionaire. They can't fathom it. And if the mind can't fathom it, they won't be motivated. They believe, okay, well, I don't see how am I going to get there. But if you say, hey, let me help you to come out of debt, and see that, okay, now that you're out of debt, let's try this. They will try. And then slowly they get to that billionaire or millionaire status, and
wherever they want to get to,
they look back and they're like, wait,
where did that come from?
Yeah. So I absolutely love this approach.
But you know what's really crazy? And this is one of the things we found out when we first started teaching this program 2 or 3 years ago. What was fascinating was how many people thought that they needed $1 million and realized that they didn't. How many people thought they wanted to get to millionaire status and realized they didn't. I actually checked in with one of the original women in the program a few days ago. It was her birthday. And I always check in and say happy birthday. And she's still living her best life. Now, here's the funny thing. She was quick out of the gate. She started flying through those steps. Boom, 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 killing it. Yeah. And then she got to a certain figure and she's like, Dan, I don't really feel like I want any more money.
Yeah.
She bought a little boat. She bought this little boat. It was a dream to live on a boat. She paid cash for it. She docked it on this moor, on this dock. She's out in Canada.
Yeah.
Now I found she's got a little art studio as well. She makes enough money to live on her boat, very happy. And she's got her art studio and she has as much money as she needs. And it wasn't $1 million that she had to go for. You know, time and time again, we've seen that. I've seen people get to 100 grand. I've seen people get to a few 100,000. And they're like, my debt's paid. I've got my kids are ready to go to college. You know, my mortgage is paid off. I have enough money here to have some income. We go on some
Yeah.
holidays. I don't really need any more. But you know what that requires? It requires a conscious relationship to yourself and a conscious relationship to money.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. Some people say, you know, they go for the million. And they are actually, I realize I actually want this much because I want to do this. And they want to go further. Hey, I really want to achieve this. I want to go and do that. I want to make this contribution, and they go further. But again, now they're approaching this. It's not such a lofty goal. When you get to 1 million, 5 million, 10 million isn't such a lofty goal now. It's just another step in the journey that you've already been on.
True.
And I'm just honored that I get to support people in getting to bring their dreams to life like this.
This is amazing. Yeah, for sure. And the part where you mentioned alignment to yourself, because what happens with a lot of persons, they see someone else at the millionaire status and they say, oh, I need to be there. But is that truly where you need to be? And so a lot of times people embark on these journeys, which are really someone else's journey, that you're thinking, oh, well, this must be the way to go. And social influence plays a big role as well, because everybody's seeing on the gram,
100%.
I'm living that 6-figure lifestyle, $1 million lifestyle. But is it really for you? Maybe you're okay.
And is it even real?
Lifestyle.
Is it real?
Yeah.
And is it real what you're seeing on the gram?
True. That's another thing. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I remember I was in Vegas. I'm only saying this because I was meant to be in Vegas last year, next week, and I'm not going to be able to get out there. But we're in Vegas and with some clients for my old business, my old consulting business. And there was this young guy, and he's like, hey, you know, can I take some pictures with your bottles, please? And, you know, I just thought he was a young guy. I was like, do you know what? Do you? So he was taking some pictures with our champagne bottles and like, it's like, he's going to post it to the gram. And this happened once when I was in New York as well. I was at the Empire a few years ago, and people wanted to take some pictures of our Don P bottles and like, you know, it's like taking, why do we do this? Why do we chase after this illusionary experience instead of putting all of that energy into these micro shifts, these baby steps to actually getting there? Yes, I understand. A lot of people didn't have that before, but now they've got this series that you're creating. They've got these experts that you're bringing forward that's going to give them the ability to start doing something different and to start putting some work in strategically to actually get a result. You know, there are people like myself out there that are actually holding people's hand to get people to, you know, different financial state. I just want to encourage people to, number one, stop judging yourself on other people's standards or what you see them doing, because you don't know what's real. And also to encourage people to stop being fake.
Yeah.
You know, put away the fake Rolex.
The fake rich. I'm tired of it. Rich for the gram, but So really valuable work that you're doing indeed. And so I'm sure persons listening would want to find you because they're ready for action. You've dropped really impactful knowledge, but knowledge is nothing without execution. And so how exactly could persons, how would they find you if they want to work with you and get started on making these micro shifts?
Well, I would say the very first thing that I would encourage them to do, we like to see people at least come and take the time out to do something first and then move through the steps of actually working with us. We've got a free video called How to Be a Harmonious Money Magnet. Nice. This actually encapsulates a lot of the ideas that we've spoken about today and succinctly puts it in a way that you can start to apply. It gives you 3 things that you could actually do right now to change your relationship and the conscious relationship that you have to money, to start making it come to you in a more harmonious way, to start changing that relationship and building that momentum. We encourage everybody to do that. That's our gift to the people watching this interview. It's about 45 minutes long. Have your notebook out, get ready to make some notes and get ready to take some action on that. Once you've done that, if you feel that you're ready for the next steps, then of course you can, you know, get back in contact with us. You can email us and see what the next steps are for you, book an appointment to speak with the team. But none of that makes sense until you understand the way that we approach wealth creation, which you will get by watching that free video, which will add some value to your life.
Wow. Yes, I am going to be watching that myself because I know this is truly valuable. I can spot value very well when I see it. I'm an investor. I have an eye for deep value. So
thank you.
This has been amazing, Dan. Thank you so much. Lots of laughter, but all within that, topped off, very deep, impactful knowledge for persons to take now and implement in their lives so they can see results in wealth creation, which I believe is
Thank you.
something everyone should have. Wealth is there for everyone if only you go
Hmm.
after it. So thank you
Hmm.
so much for your time. This has been an
My
amazing
pleasure. Thank you for having me.